30th, 9 a.m. Central. Hey, my friends, let's really kind of not beat around the bush. 2020 has been a very challenging year, and I thought we would do maybe some good heart-to-heart discussion with a good friend of mine. So we're doing something a little bit here at Stop Doing Nothing. We're always expanding our technology and cameras and lights and all that tech stuff. And I consider myself pretty serious in the geek world, but there are some other geeks out there, believe it or not, with the billions and billions of people in the world, and there are few people that can keep up with my geekery. And one of those people is a friend of mine in Florida, Phil, who's a fellow speaker. We met, I keep saying, I want to say years ago, but I think it was decades ago, or at least a decade plus ago. And I can't remember the hotel. I remember there was a bar, like a circular bar in the middle.
Yeah, where were we? Philadelphia.
Was it Philadelphia?
We were in Philadelphia. Yeah, it was in Philadelphia because we'd connected. And you had just gotten a big, bright purple pair of socks, and we bonded over socks. That was the first thing. And then the technology, of course, second, and then the fact we're both speakers third, which is an interesting way to bond with people, right? Because like, dude, socks! Awesome.
Socks! Exactly. No, socks are the accent. Socks are the salt of the meal. And matter of fact, still till my day, one of the favorite pair of socks is the Patrick pair of socks. I have a pretty healthy ego, and you didn't help by buying me my own branded pair of socks. So I really appreciate that. But I've always wanted to do. Phil and I have done some interviews, I think some podcasts and some joint things in the past. I'm not sure it's ever been on video. But I thought I'd bring Phil on for kind of maybe like an end-of-year recap. We're going to talk about some light, fun things, but we're also going to get a little bit serious because I think that it's good to address some of the things that have been a little bit challenging in 2020. It really has, and I know Phil's a great guy to discuss this kind of stuff with. And so we just kind of have a list of things we're going to go through. But first of all, for Phil, for the people that don't know who you are, can you kind of give us a quick rundown of who you are, where you live, and what's going on in your world this morning?
Sure. So I'm Phil Gerbishak. I live in a little suburb of Orlando, Florida. Right now, Claremont, but I'm moving to Winter Garden in the next month or two. Really excited about that. What do I do? So I help sales happen in organizations. So I'm first of all, I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Process and Results. It's a new company that we started last year. Also, still a sales trainer. I really believe that it's important to train on the whole stack of sales, not just one thing, and to help folks with that and to understand sales. And then third, to your point, right, I'm a geek. I love tech, not for tech's sake, though, right? Patrick and I think you're the same here, not just for tech's sake, but also just to grow your business and to leverage that. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm a pinball wizard. I love pinball. I've got a wonderful lady in my life that I love, and 2 bonus kids and 2 bonus dogs that I'm really fortunate for.
I don't see too many pinball wizards anymore these days. There's an 80s cafe here in Oklahoma City, and I think there's a couple of pinball machines there. And every now and then you see there's people that have like pinball basements. I don't know if there's anyone around Orlando like that, but I know I've seen someone maybe in Oklahoma City like that where like they have like a basement and they bought like all the classic pinball machine games. And that's to me kind of the old school cool video game before it went digital. It's hard to beat, a good rubber flipper and a good steel ball and glass on top of all of it. Cool. How often do you get to play? Do you still get to play at all?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, you say that there's not, but there's an underground of people who still love pinball. I'm part of some pinball groups there. And now Florida has no basements. Let's be clear, right? That's totally not a Florida thing. So instead, we have pinball museums. We have places. And the reason that pinball isn't as popular as it once was, I believe, it's because you have to pay the licensing for each game because the games often have music. So what happens instead is they give you a museum and they give you unlimited play on all the machines. So I've been to one in Portland. I've been to one in Seattle. I haven't been to the one in Vegas. I want to go. There's one in St. Petersburg, Florida. There's one in Tarpon Springs. And there's actually one here in Claremont, which is really cool. Claremont, Florida, that has that as well. So I'm really excited by that. And then when I can't get enough of that, one, I could fly to Seattle. My brother has some machines at his place in his garage, so he has no cars in the garage, just video games and pinball. And then secondly, if I'm really jonesing, on my phone, Stern, Stern, Stern has a pinball emulator that has all the classics, and it's the first time that I've seen Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball since I left Seoul, Korea in 95, 96.
I didn't, Phil, I didn't realize you had a connection in Seattle. My mom's in Seattle. I have to go up there on the regular.
That's right.
So I have to land in Seattle and then travel around the Sound over to Gig Harbor. So
that's where my brother lives. My brother lives in Gig Harbor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we gotta talk. Yeah, we gotta talk more about this. Yeah, we can go play pinball at my brother's house.
Oh, that would be cool if we could ever sync up a trip to go up there too. Maybe do an NSA Seattle speaking trip and a pinball trip and all that stuff at once.
We pick our geek friend Sierra up, right? We pick Sierra up on the way through. She could mix cocktails while we all play pinball.
Yeah, that's what I need is a pinball machine with a big steel ball and glass on top of it with a couple of drinks inside of me. Wow. So that is cool. I had, for some reason, that just never clicked there. So let's get into it a little bit here. First of all, this is a really weird thing of mine. Are you drinking water, tea, or coffee?
Oh, it's always coffee for me. Until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's almost always, at least in my Tervis, right? So I've got my Navy Tervis. Makes me really happy. I got that this year. Just, show a little support for the service that I signed. Funny enough, they accidentally sent me an Air Force one at first. So I thought of you, of course. But I got my Navy one.
Got it. Was it the Air Force one wasn't like pink with the hold your pinky out or anything, was it?
No, but it did have a handle with a big nipple. So I could drink coffee that way.
Exactly, because that's what we have to have. So we haven't talked a lot in 2020, man. How was business in 2020?
So business was entertaining. So it started out, if we remember, started out the year, I actually was gainfully employed. I had a job. I was the VP of sales training at a software company. And COVID hit in March. It made the world very different. I went from traveling to all my business units and all my different companies that we bought to staying home. And then in July, they wanted to go in a different direction than I train in. They wanted to be different focused. I'm a solution seller by trade. I help people solve problems. That wasn't how they wanted to sell, wasn't how they wanted me to train. And so we parted ways really in September. And then I started with Process and Results with Chris Johnson, who you know. Mm-hmm. I saw you interacting with him. So we started that up, and I'm working with Chris now. And it's been good. The last half has been much better than the first half, not just because I'm back, not in corporate, but also because now I'm really solving problems because many small and mid-sized businesses either don't have a sales team, they don't have a sales team that's as effective as they could be, or they don't want to have a sales team. So we actually run sales for companies. We create the process, set up the tech stack, and then actually execute on the phone calls that either set up the appointments or set up the phone calls that actually close the business. So it's pretty cool. And it's been good.
Got it. I know for a while there, it was really LinkedIn based. Are you still pretty much LinkedIn based, or are you kind of expanded that horizon?
Yeah, we've expanded, right? It's full cycle sales. I focused on LinkedIn because for honestly a couple of years, it was the most effective B2B sales platform there was, and it was the one that had the most mystery around it. I think a lot of folks they get sucked into the social media part and they think that it's all about big numbers, right? Return on ego, to steal Kara Roth's words. And it's not, right? It's a return on investment. Like, how much time are you spending? How much money are you investing? And, they really cranked up Sales Navigator on LinkedIn to really turn it into, honestly, for B2B sellers, especially in the bigger businesses, the only tool that you have to find the people you need. I didn't say to get their contact info necessarily, because LinkedIn doesn't expose that. And I don't say everybody's active, but you can at least find them there if you're in the Fortune 500, 5,000 folks, because all but one of the Fortune 500 are on LinkedIn. And I don't know which company it is that is not, but there's one of them that they say is not. That's what their most recent report shows. And of the Fortune 5,000, I would venture a guess to say that 80 or 85% of them are at least present there. So you can find a path in. So that's why I focused on LinkedIn so much, because I believe in a path in more than just blasting to try to find it. Though sometimes you don't find a path, you got to do what you got to do, right? You got to go through it and still go through. If you believe you have a solution that can serve, I really believe that you should still make the call.
Got it. Go through it, go around it, go whatever way you can get into it. So you transition jobs. It sounds like things are working out. You got a great lady and some animals and some kids in your life. As far as business here, I have to admit that it really was a good 2020 technology-wise. You and I are lucky that I hate to think of disasters, but if my house burned down with my laptop and my computer and my technology and everything, I could run down to Best Buy and be back up and running in business pretty fast. So we can pivot pretty fast. I give my Wi-Fi like 10 minutes. If like the internet goes out at my house in 10 minutes, I pack my go bag and I'm off to the closest coffee shop. So we're really lucky.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think that because both of us work in marketing, that a lot of companies really did have to move online. They were gradually moving online in 2020, but no, they had to pivot really fast and get online really fast. So you and I were in a pretty unique position there to be able to help companies like that. If they had a sales force, for example, like in your world, if they had a sales force where all of a sudden they couldn't go visit people and they had to get good at LinkedIn and good at digital lead generation, I mean, you were the man for that. And so you're in a really good position there. For me, it's a lot of the pay-per-click and landing pages and CRMs. Almost every, you're a big pusher of LinkedIn because it's such a great tool. I pivot everyone to a CRM. That's the first thing I look at. If you don't have a CRM, then that's the first business tool we're going to bring into your business, because everything is based on that. So I think we both got really lucky in 2020. A lot of people didn't get lucky, and I definitely want to acknowledge that. And I really think things are going to get better. I'm not a big fan. Everyone loves this phrase called the new normal. Well, every single day, our lives and business and things are changing, and so there's always a new normal. There was a new normal from January of 2019 to February of 2019, and February to March, and with every election, there's a new normal. We're going to have a new normal. What is inauguration? January 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're always having these new normals. Now, the pandemic was a huge new normal for sure. I cannot stand wearing a mask. I'm a guy who grows facial hair, and facial hair and masks do not work out well at all, let me tell you. But I'm really looking forward to, just things. Oh, interesting sidebar to things working out better in 2020. As 2020 is wrapping up, interesting sidebar. Saturday morning when I was at the gym, I found out that someone there had COVID, and so now I am on lockdown. I'm in the middle of a 10-day lockdown at home. And I'm going to go get tested probably after our interview or a little bit later today. The local Walmart grocery store has a drive-through test. But yeah, as 2020 kind of wraps up here, I got lucky not being exposed to it. But I just did recently, and so I'm going to go take care of that. Okay, so we know 2020 was good. 2020 was bad. In 2020, I know you're kind of primarily a work-from-home person anyways. Are you still a big fan of that? Or because we were kind of locked down at all, did you miss the option of being social? I mean, I know I did, because I'm a very social person. I work from home just to save on the expense and because it's quiet. But did you miss that option? How did that affect you when you were forced to work from home and you had no choice in the matter?
Yeah, it's hard for me. I mean, I'm as extroverted as you are, Patrick. Maybe more even. I mean, I love people. I love the ability to hug, to shake hands, to actually see people in person, face to face, to see facial expressions where I can actually look at them instead of having to look at the camera. I mean, that's really tough. So yeah, I missed it. And the other thing that I really missed is the interaction between people, the nonverbal stuff, right? When I'm training, when I'm selling, people do things in person that you just can't perceive even virtually. It's just interesting, right? Like I could shut my camera off right now and I could still be here, or I could mute myself and still be here. Well, you can't do that in person. So you miss a lot of that. I think in some ways that's really hard, but in other ways, to your point about the new normal, Patrick, I think the new normal is there is no normal. And by that, I mean, everything is going to change always, always, always. And now we've been really clear about that. Everybody used to say, oh, well, we have to, we don't trust our people enough to work from home. We have to watch them. Well, guess what? They're working from home now. They left Friday. They have not come back. I mean, I remember the day before the lockdown. I told my team that Friday. I was in corporate. I told all the folks on the team. I said, "Hey, bring your laptop home." They're like, "What?" Just take your laptop home. Pull it out of the docking station. Take it home, and you'll be ahead of the game. We don't know what's going to happen Monday, Tuesday, but just take it home. Well, they took it home, and lo and behold, they needed it. And so we might have saved, honestly, probably 2 weeks of downtime because most of the sales team actually took their laptops home. Now, in some business units, they didn't have that option even, right? They were so used to coming into the office, turning on their stuff. They didn't even have a headset. They didn't have, they didn't have a wireless mouse. They didn't have anything that would have helped them really work more effectively. So I really, I like the choice. I think the choice is important. I have an office now that I go to a couple of days a week. I could go every day if I wanted to, because there's only 4 of us there. So we're totally socially distant, totally safe, right? But it's interesting that without that, I mean, I got work done, but it's hard to be focused and creative when you got 2 kids running around the house, 2 dogs. My sweetie's a remote sales leader. So like right now, I'm grateful that I've got my headphones that are noise canceling, but otherwise I can hear every word she says. And not that she means to be loud, but everybody's loud when you work from home. It's just how it works.
Right. Yeah, I am. My wife works in marketing for politics, and she's on some speakerphone calls, and she always has the news on. And so we have a pretty good boundary of, I come to the office and I hide for hours. There are times when I walk across the house that she's working in the living room. We don't even talk. It's not to be mean or to rude, but she's heads down doing something. I'm heads down doing something. And never the two shall meet if one or the other is on a speaker call, because I could, you've got wireless headphones, I've got wireless earbuds. Just because I'm walking around the house doesn't mean I'm not on a Zoom call or not on a conference call. I could, make various trips and do food, do whatever I need to do around the house and still have my earbuds in. I think I've always liked the option of working from home and not working from home. I tend to do some coffee shop work. I've been leaning more towards the end of 2020, looking at an office. There's a couple of good co-working spaces here in Oklahoma City, and before I kind of looked at those as options, but I'm really kind of craving those, these days and it's really weird. I'm one of the people that likes to be around people, but I'll still put on my headphones when I'm around people. Like, I'll go to a coffee shop to be social, and the first thing I'll do is put on my headphones and put my head down and go to work. Even in a co-working space, it's like that also. So it's like, I like being around the people and having the option, but still I need my focus time. But, having focus time by yourself in an office feels a little bit different than having focus time when you're around people. If you want to take a break and have a cup of coffee, and if you and I were in the same co-working space, we could easily do that. We can't do that so easily if we're kind of working in our silo. So do you think going forward in 2021, you're going to go to the office more? You're going to go to the office less? What are your thoughts on that?
So that's a good question. Well, because I'm buying a house, I'm carving out some space just for the office, which is different. I think dedicated space is really going to be important for me. I like the dedicated space. To your point, I like to be heads down. I like my headphones on when I'm doing work. But yeah, when I'm just kind of thinking and stuff, I absolutely will spend time at a coffee shop. I'm looking forward to seeing what my new neighborhood brings in terms of coffee shops, and who's there, right? I mean, I want a coffee shop that's filled with creatives and with smart business folks, not folks that are, not to pick on them, right? But that are either underemployed or unemployed, that don't have any don't have any thoughts about anything other than they have to find their job. And
Right.
I'm not slagging on them because I understand how that is. But as far as my collaboration time, I don't have time for the unscheduled pick my brain type meetings anymore.
Right.
So I really want, if I see someone that's interesting, I might go up and say, hey, let's have a cup of coffee maybe later, right? Because I look at my watch and I'm standing in line and we have a conversation. Well, right now isn't the time, but maybe in an hour it will be. So let's see if we can talk. I mean, that's what I liked about co-working. I co-worked in Wisconsin when I was back home, for years, and I really enjoyed that. But that was intentional, unintentional collisions, right? Like someone was next to me in the office, because I always had an office. I mean, I need to be able to shut the door. So whatever that looks like, I need time. I need space to shut the door.
Got it. Yeah, and for me, I think, like I said, I'm probably going to work a little bit heavier on being in a social space in 2021. Someone jab me with a needle as soon as possible. I have no fears of a vaccine at all. If it lets me to be more social, it's going to let me go up to see my mom more. I'm very careful now when I go up and see her, and she doesn't see anybody. So someone please go up to Gig Harbor and jab my mom in the arm with a needle as soon as possible, so she can get out and about. So that's interesting. Your thoughts there on 2021. Now, did the relationship that you're in, is that a relationship that started this year, or was that like last year?
That was last year. Last year, but it got really much deeper this year because we were. So first, we're obviously the only people the other one can see.
Right.
So you have two choices there. It either, oh my gosh, I hate your guts, get away from me, I can't stand you. Or, fortunately, ours was just the opposite of, wow, this is a great human being. I love spending time with her. I really want to, enjoy and get to know and invest in this. And the time that I took and I made with her. And interestingly enough, I mean, my mom came down in March. And so one of the highlights of my year was that I get to spend 4 months with my mom, getting to know my mom more while this whole craziness was happening. Because I sent her down from Wisconsin. At first, I thought it was to spend 2 weeks with me, but it ended up spending 4 months with me. And so the relationship with the relationship with my sweetie and the kids and mom all got way better than I could have ever happened because we're all we got to see. Yeah, I know, right? I was like, oh my gosh, this is.
I don't know if I could do that. My mom and I sometimes have a challenge being 24 hours around each other, 4 months.
No, same, bro. Same.
You are a brave man.
Yeah, well, I thought I was going to have the same challenge. I mean, and truth be told, my mom said the same thing. She's like, wow, this has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed spending time with you. But to your point, Patrick, I was just as concerned as you are. Like, you got to be kidding me. My mom's going to spend how long here? Like, I was like 2 weeks. I don't think so. And I'm going to be working from home? Holy crap, I don't think so.
Oh,
no,
wow.
It was awesome. It was magic.
That's good to hear, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, my mom, I went up to see my mom, I think, in 3 or 4 months ago. And we're both pretty strong, strong-headed. And I go up there with a to-do list, basically the mother-son version of a honey-do list. And it's usually, this time it was swapping out all the lights for like LED lights and getting like a whole wood floor replaced. And it definitely puts a strain on the relationship. Plus the fact that neither one of us had been social that much to begin with, but we made it through it. So wow, kudos, man, to sitting there with 4 months with the kids and the animals and the entanglement and the mother.
Yep.
Man, you are a brave man. You talk about a new normal. That's definitely a new normal right there. Let's pivot back. I'm glad to hear that you're in good shape. I'm glad to hear that you had a good relationship with your mother and your significant other. I want to pivot back to a little bit to business. We are at let's see, it is 9:27 Central on December 30th, which means we've got roughly 24 plus. I don't know. I hate doing
30, math. 37, 39 hours. Yeah.
37, 39 hours in the year. So this year is over. We're just kind of wrapping up things and planning probably some low-key New Year's Eve activities. But, I always like looking forward to the next year and what's coming up in 2021. I'm sure you're going to be expanding the sales work you're doing. But as far as your business, What do you see different maybe in 2021, or what do you see coming up? Or if I were to come to you and run into like a coffee shop right now and say, Phil, can I pick your brain for 5 minutes, even though don't let them do it? I need some marketing advice for 2021, Phil. What would you tell me?
Well, I think first of all, establish your authority early and often. So get that book written, create a video series, start a podcast, and establish your authority, and then go on other people's shows, right? Get involved, collaborate there, but establish your authority early. That's the first thing that I would say to folks, regardless of your business. If you're a bigger business, you probably need a front person who can be the voice of your organization, who you can be someone that people look to as an expert, as an authority, as someone that is approachable and you can have a conversation with. So that's the first thing I'd say. The second thing I'd say is be frequent. Be frequent, right? So take a video like this and chop it up into 30 pieces and stretch it out over a week, over 2 weeks, over a month, but be frequent. Don't be accidental. I think people are wanting that touch, right? They want to be more in touch with you more often. I mean, I read Ben Settle's email. He writes an email sometimes twice a day. Do I open every one? Absolutely not. I'd be totally lying if I did. Patrick, I see your stuff all the time. Do I watch every video? Nope, I don't. But when I want to, it is available. And I think that's really important for your customers, right? As you're marketing your business, make yourself available and then make yourself binge worthy. Like create something that people are talking about. Don't just be an authority that's boring. Don't just be an authority that's frequent, but be an interesting authority that has a different point of view. Take a different tact. One of my biggest things is I believe value over volume, right? So value over volume all day, every day. But don't forget to sprinkle in some of your personality, some of your entertaining factors. Get out there and be there for people. And then last, as that wraps, and Patrick, I know you love this term, right? Done is always better than perfect. So get it done. Just get it done, right? And then do it again. Get better. I mean, if you start doing daily videos in January, think of how great you'll be at doing daily videos by December. And then really think of how great you'll be even by the 1st of February. So just get going, right? Get done. Better than perfect. Start your authority journey now. Find someone to be your spokesperson. If it's you, that's great. If it's someone else, that's great too. And then be frequent, right? Be frequent, be regular, and always add value whenever you can.
Got it. The one thing I think I picked up out of there that I'm a bigger, I mean, all your points are great, but the importance of being omnipresent, that's what I like, is that's the word I use there, is just kind of being all over the place. I have some Facebook paid ad campaigns going, which I'm a big fan of, especially video ads, because they're just dirt cheap. And so I'll take like a video like we're doing here and I'll slice it up into a 30-second chunk and I'll just throw that in a Facebook ad because I can get that for like 1/1000th of a penny for a view. And I get people now that'll Facebook message me or text me like, Patrick, dude, your videos are all over the place. How do I get rid of you? And I'm like, yes, no problem. I love it. That's not, you can block me on Facebook if you want, but I don't mind being omnipresent like that. And you brought up another good point, which, goodness, I hate just beating this drum over and over and over, but the done is better than perfect thing. I don't know where I came up with that phrase, but when I travel to different, NSA chapters to speak or do any kind of keynote speaking or anything, I always run into people who pull you off to the side and they're like, I want to do what you do. I want to make Facebook videos, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous I'm going to look like a fool. I don't know what kind of camera to buy. I don't know what kind of lights to buy. For those of you that follow me on Facebook, we did a live stream yesterday, and I probably linked to it, where we talked to some different experts. Beth Z, the Nerdy Best Friend, coordinated it, where we talked about all of our, she called it showing everyone your back end. And we showed everyone all of our tech back end. And I'm going to tell you, I started off with some crappy equipment and some crappy videos. I remember that I used to have, I can't remember what that camera was called, but it was like a handheld camera that had like the flip thing out of the bottom, the flip USB.
It was a flip cam.
It was a flip cam? Yeah. So I had a flip cam. I used to do my videos on a tripod like I have now on a flip cam with like a 30-foot lavalier mic that stretched across my office. And I didn't have any lights, so I had to make sure the camera was facing the window was behind the camera, because the only choice I had were natural lights. And those videos are, early on my YouTube channel. And I think in some of my videos, I was even like lazy enough that I forgot to like patch up a drywall hole in the wall. And so there's like a drywall patch behind a purple/pink background I had going on. And I just really didn't care much, but I got it done. And so I want people to pay close attention to the advice that you gave, where, please do not worry about the lighting and sound and camera being perfect. They will come. There are Facebook groups, which I belong to, which give great recommendations on this stuff. This camera that I'm using right here, which I consider a pretty decent camera, I didn't know anything about cameras, and I still don't know anything about cameras. And I know this camera has 1,000 settings, and when I get ready to go live with someone like Phil, I turn on the camera, and I pray it comes on, and I pray the picture looks good. But I have no idea how to use it, but I know I just plug it in, and it works. I've got a microphone here. I've got lights here. And so my setup is probably a little bit average, a little bit better than the normal person that's starting. But if you're someone who wants to do what Phil does when it comes to making videos, or what you see, Gary Vee or Michael Hyatt or various people that do video content, just press the red button. Press the red button is the video equivalent of done is better than perfect. And you get going and you get talking out there, and day one, you're going to be nervous. You're going to stutter. You're going to say ahs and ums. You're going to have an odd echo. Your lighting may not be perfect. Day two, it'll be a little bit better. And day three, it'll be a little bit better. You get a little bit more money. You'll buy a little bit better microphone. Maybe you get like a good Craigslist deal and buy a better camera. And so slowly up over time, this stuff gets better. And so, yeah, that phrase, done is better than perfect, I really, really preach that in everything. And what you do, sales and marketing, in the CRM work, in the lead generation, in the video world. So good for you for bringing that up, man. Done is better than perfect. I've got shirts with it on the back. I think I need to get a shirt with it on the front. Most of my shirts on the front say stop doing nothing. I need to get done is better than perfect on the front of a shirt.
Absolutely, okay. You do. I agree.
Okay, so final topic. Completely pivoting from everything else that we've talked about here. I know that I'm not a foodie. I'm not sure if you're a foodie. I like food, but I wouldn't consider myself a foodie. What is your favorite restaurant nearby? First of all, what type of food do you prefer? Because for me, it's always barbecue. But if I was to come to Orlando and you were to take me out for some food, where would you take me? Because I know the last time we went to like a trailer kind of thing on the way to the airport,
with a burger.
Right?
We went to Burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else is good in the area, in your area, that you would take me to?
So, yeah. Well, I would. I know you like barbecue. I'd hope that you come on a Sunday. Do you like grits too, Patrick?
Oh, like shrimp and grits? Yes.
No, just grits. Like,
oh,
grits.
Yeah.
So there's this place called So Ellie Lou's here in Claremont has gospel grits. They're so good that after you eat them, you got to say hallelujah. That's why they call them gospel grits. So they're really good. And then with that, their barbecue is fantastic as well. So that's where I would take us for barbecue. But then I might say, well, Patrick, it's Tuesday afternoon. Let's go get a hamburger at a place called The Whiskey on International Drive, because then we can sit all day, sip some bourbon, sip some whiskey, have some good hamburgers, and just hang out. And maybe we could see our other geek buddy, Terry Brock, because he's just a couple blocks away.
Got it. Okay. I'm experiencing a little bit of a delay here. Can you still hear me okay?
Yep, I hear you just fine, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of a technical issue there. So the gospel grits. I heard that. I want to make sure I got that right. The gospel grits.
Gospel grits and barbecue at Ellie Lou's in Claremont, and I think they have one in Ocoee too.
Got it. There is, for me, barbecue. There are two places I like to go to. One is really close, and one is really far away. And you know what? It figures both of their names would. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, anyways, I will try to get the names in the chat later. I had them on the tip of my tongue, and my amnesia just kicked in. Anyways, all my favorite places in Oklahoma City are usually barbecue related. And I usually go to the places that I'm a big fan of, like hole in the wall barbecue places. In Oklahoma City, Leo's was a staple for the longest time. That's kind of gone downhill in quality, but that was my first place. Then there's a place south of the Capitol, some shack place. It's kind of a hole in the wall place. That's really good. I just cannot believe I had my favorite restaurants lined up on the tip of my tongue, and I just lost them right there. Man, talk about screwing that up. But yeah, all my favorite places I can think of off the top of my head are the barbecue. Our Capitol, for some reason, there's some really good kind of hole-in-the-wall restaurants like north and south of our Capitol. Like this place I'm talking about is just north of the Capitol in Oklahoma City, and then the other favorite barbecue place is just south of the Capitol. So it's a good haul of a drive for me. But to me, barbecue is an experience. I go there with my friends. It's a good time to sit down and have a cup of tea. And I like sassy waitresses. I like waitresses that don't take any crap. I like if you like. I don't like the waitresses. Like I don't want a barbecue Nazi waitress, like the soup Nazi waitress. I don't want that kind of guy. But I like the ladies. Like if you're like taking your time, she's like, "What do you like?" I'm like, "I like burnt end." She's like, "Okay. Don't stop talking. I'm gonna give you a plate of burnt ends and some greens and some corn, some cornbread. That'll be $12. Give me your money." I like waitresses and people like that just when you they can suggest things for you. And the one barbecue place that goes south of Oklahoma City, I really do hem and haw because it's just all beef to me. And sometimes I want chopped, sometimes I want sliced. But I really like places like that are really good on suggestions. So. I'm glad that we're both barbecue fans. And grits, yes, there's a place I like to go here for grits, but it's also got shrimp. I'm a shrimp and grits fan.
I prefer shrimp and grits,
okay,
for sure. But sometimes with barbecue, right? Yeah, I don't want shrimp too. I've already got enough food. These have little bits of bacon in them. Are amazing.
Got it. So any kind of bacon in there is good too. I've never met any bacon that I really don't like. Okay, so we're gonna kind of wrap up here, Phil. Just in case someone is interested in the kind of work that you do when it comes to sales, training, or marketing, how can someone track you down?
Well, the easiest place would be to go to processandresults.com, and you can check out what we're doing there, or find me on LinkedIn. I'm always playing on LinkedIn. If you can spell Gerbishak, you can find me. It's GERBYSHAK, and I say that. And all joking aside, Patrick, my family anglicized the last name about 1910, 1920 when they came over from Poland. So Gerbishak is my family spelling from my grandfather's generation forward. So when you say, "Oh, that's really unique," I promise you bump into another Gerbishak. I promise they're related.
Got it. For people that's curious, there's the spelling of his name right there on the screen. GERBYSHAK. And goodness gracious, man, I am having some fun tech issues as we wrap up here. As far as me, for those of you that don't know me, if you're from Phil's audience, my name is Patrick Almond. You can always find me at stopdoingnothing.com or just searching for me, Patrick Almond, any place online. If you ever want to talk, marketing technology or CRMs, or if you just want to contact me and I will get you in touch with Phil, I'll gladly hand off because I don't want to do what he does. I promise you. I'm more heavily on the tech side and the CRM side, the marketing automation side, which is where my company shines right there. So Phil, as always, man, thank you for your time. We've been trying to set this up for a couple of weeks, and we've both been busy and had things going on. So I was glad I was finally able to get a hold of you.
Yeah, me too, Patrick. Thanks for your time, man. And thanks for always being my go-to tech guy. Whenever I need marketing help and tech help, you're my guy. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man. Well, you have a good day, and I'm sure we're going to talk again soon. For everyone that was watching live, make sure you go, by the way, just a quick pump on most of our social medias. Follow both of us on social media, on YouTube and on Facebook and on Instagram and on LinkedIn or whatever. And pay attention because I will have some further shows with some other guests. And I know Phil's all over social media also, so he'd like your follow also if you want to hear what he has to say. For everyone else that's watching, thank you very much for paying attention. Everyone go have a great, great day. Please wear a mask. Please get vaccinated. I don't care if you don't believe me or you don't like me. You know what? I want to keep my fellow Americans alive, and I want to keep my mom alive in Gig Harbor. So thanks again, everyone, for watching. Have a great, great day.